There you go. Taco it, let the heat come through the bundle.
This easy, gentle breath.
Now you might be able to rock on a little harder.
Yeah, I feel the magic happening.
There you go.
Oh, boom!
All right.
That's it.
All right.
Very nice.
Look what I have created.
I started recording too late.
Yeah, she didn't catch the fire in my face either. She got it on the ground. In mine, that's okay. I'm still gonna tease the guy about it.
But you got the mechanics of it. You know what I mean? I mean the principle. That's the main thing. The technique takes time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
At first, keep watching. No, don't blow it on him. Maybe. Good. Taco. Now give it a little bit of hell. Give it a little bit. Once you start seeing yellow smoke, really give it some oxygen. When you're seeing yellow smoke, give it some oxygen. There you go. Oh, much.
I think it's the moisture in the air. I really do. I think that's why the bundle's a little slower. It's just,
Yeah.
you all open them up, it's great, but I think there's so much mist in the air.
Makes it tricky.
Yeah.
Almost at it. Oh, man. Close, man. Close.
So Will, it's day 3 of camping. What I don't even know if the audio's gonna come out.
I know. Try to get something done. Starts raining again. We got classes lined up, scheduled. I got the whole area scouted out for wild edibles classes. I mean, nobody's gonna want to do it just because we gotta walk around, and then nobody wants to get soaking wet. I mean, I really don't mind it too much. I got changes of clothes and stuff like that, but nobody's gonna want to take that class, so just push it till later, I guess.
I don't know if it'll come out or not. This is our camp, by the way, which is awesome.
Not ours, but
Well, George's.
ours is a couple hammocks in the back.
But it is you can kind of see the rain. You can see the rain running down the guy lines and dripping off the tarps. It has been doing this non-stop for 72 hours. And we're not complaining.
I mean, we just want to get some classes done. Want to get some knowledge thrown around,
We did have a good bow drill class yesterday, at least.
Yeah.
And that was a good sharing time. But yeah, it is definitely no lack of water, at least.
Not like we haven't been having fun, though.
True, we have had a good time. It brings us closer together in the tighter spaces.
Yeah.
And we've been eating good.
Yeah.
So, all in all,
Yep.
brotherhood and food. Can't beat that. And we've managed to stay pretty warm. Slept good in the hammock last night. Slept good on the cot the night before that.
We are.
Well, that's all for now, folks.
Everybody's seen these before, right? The backyard, right? Yeah. A lot of common mistake these for strawberries. They are called strawberries, but these are actually mock strawberries or Indian strawberries. I don't know why they call them that, because it's actually a product from Cambodia, Southeast Asia, Vietnam, stuff like that. They are edible. You can't eat these, The only difference you can see if you kind of pass these around, you can see the seeds are kind of protruding out. Now, real like American strawberry, the seeds are going to be embedded in. They're going to be flat first of all, and they'll be embedded in the actual strawberry themselves. But these are actually edible. The problem. Pass this around that way. There we go.
Let me get a shot of that.
There's pretty much nothing else that are other good for as medicinal properties.
Focus. There we go. Thank you, sir.
So while we're doing that, we're going to look at another plant that's actually useful medicinally and it's also edible. And that's broadleaf plantain, okay? See how it's kind of compact in a little bit. This is broadleaf plantain, okay? This plant's highly astringent. Stand up a little bit. This plant's highly astringent, okay? So like bee stings, splinters that are hard to get out, things like that. You can put this on it, chew it up a little bit, put it on there, make it stick, put a bandage around it. It'll draw anything like bee stings, like toxins from that to the surface. It'll draw stings and splinters to the surface, things like that. It's also edible. Tastes kind of like mushrooms to me. So if we find another one here. Yeah, that's one. You can grab that one. Gotta start passing these around. The way you're gonna not misidentify this is because these comes in rosettes like this, guys, okay? And each leaf is gonna have a canoe, like a channel. You can see that? And that's how it channels water down into the rosette. Also, you can see the deep veins on the back side. Okay? This is, yeah, this one. Yeah, that's good. You can pass that around. This is broadleaf plantain, Plantago species. Can't talk. There's lots of narrow leaf plantain out here as well, so when we're walking around, if I see one of those, I'll show you guys that also. There's the Plantago species is a wide can't talk today. wide varied species.
Is this it?
No, that's not it. There you go. Boom. Right there.
This one?
Yep, right there.
No.
Yeah, just flip it over to the back. If you see it, if you see one you think that is broadleaf plantain, flip it over to the back. You see those veins on the back? That'll make it pretty hard to mistake. And then look down the middle of it, you see that channel. That canoe. Alright. Let's see. And these are, like I said, these are just the common plants that you're going to find in your backyard. That's why I wanted to show you guys these. This plant is called bloodroot, okay? This plant is highly toxic, extremely toxic, but it is also extremely useful. And if I dig down in here, I can show you why it's called bloodroot. As I'm digging down here, you know, root systems go down, right? Rhizomes go this way, right? So as I'm digging down, I'm looking for a rhizome. Oh, I gotta kind of go by feel. We can get some of the major stuff out.
Oh, that's where my pig went.
That's right.
That'd be real nice and tired, wouldn't it?
Right. So what I'm feeling for is a root, a rhizome going this way. This is a big one. He rarely says that.
Edit. That's one he's going to send her.
And 3, 2, 1.
You ain't having fun. What's the use of being out here, right? Alright, so I needed to clean it anyway. Planned out. No mistakes today. So obviously we can see why it's called bloodroot, right? Dark red. We snap this in half, just like that, and get that blood red juice flowing through here. This is about one of the most powerful antifungals that you're going to find out in the woods. Okay? Topical use only. I cannot stress that enough. Stuff is actually an additive in toothpaste. One reason why you're not supposed to swallow your toothpaste, we're talking in the parts per million. That's why I go for mouth antifungal reasons. Ringworm, athlete's feet, anything like that out in the woods. Stabbing this on, again, topical use only, even in cuts. Don't put this in cuts, things like that, because this is deadly, guys. This will kill you. Highly toxic, make you really sick, or it can kill you. But yeah, any kind of fungal reasons, any kind of fungal problems you have out in the woods, this stuff is great for it. Great for it. You can actually pass this around, or I'm just gonna show you guys this because I don't even want you guys to touch it.
Repeat what you said about cuts.
Right. Yeah. So you can see why it's called bloodroot.
Oh wow.
We have a volunteer right here.
Nope. Ain't touching it.
Any touch you have on it. It doesn't make you outside and feel good, you know what I mean? But yeah, ringworm, I've cured my kids with ringworm just within 20
What'd I tell y'all about secrets?
Huh? No, I don't see why not. Unless they don't lick it. Oh. This is kind of a piss poor example, but alright, so this is horseshoe fungus, okay? This is kind of a bad example of it, but it's pretty much all we got out here. There's a lot of things this can do for us. Not edible or anything like that, but it can be used for tinder if it's dried out right. Can hold a spark and be a coal extender. It also can act for tool maintenance. If you get the velvety side of this right here, you can strop an edge back on your knife. Just good things to know. You know, it can actually bring your edge back really quickly. Other than that, it's really not used for too much, but you know, keep an eye out for them. They are useful for coal extenders and blade maintenance, thing like that. All right. On this side, yeah.
Got a pretty good crowd out here. I'm glad the rain finally died out for a moment so we can get some classes in.
Right here, and this tree, moving just moving around the woods and looking at the woods and stuff like this. Can anybody tell me what tree this is? Poplar. Tulip poplar. This is a tulip poplar, okay? Building material, bow drill sets, friction fire. A harsh word will make this stuff go up into a coal. Just yell at it. You know, okay, a coal. Okay, I'll give you a coal. This stuff is great for building material, like I said. Even the bark of tulip poplar, you can get your knife into it, etch into beyond the Cambrian layer of the tree itself, and then make a line incision down, peel that bark back, make containers, make bow quivers, things like that. This is an important tree. Really important tree to remember. It's actually, you say tulip poplar, but it's not a poplar. It's from the magnolia species. But it's all around here, guys. You'll see it. You'll always know it now because you see this leaf. You see this leaf, you'll remember. So let's go ahead and move on.
Around here is cat in a basket.
Huh?
We remember as a cat in a basket around here. The leaves look like a basket with the cat fits.
Yeah, you know, I do a lot of this stuff from place to place, country, well not country, but towns to towns, and I've seen where like common names for things. I'll do a plant class and that's called cat splitter here around here, and then in the next town over it's called something different. So common names could kind of get you in trouble, and I'm teaching you common names even, but I'm teaching kind of the more common names. Other than that would be Latin names, and I'm not going there. I'm just not. But all right, guys, let's move on. I mean, it's really, really lucky we find them. They're all over the place down here.
Yeah.
They're like called, not like PC, but hillbilly bananas, and I prefer Appalachian American bananas, but whatever.
They're tasty.
They are. They're really good.
Make
They're
a
really
good
good.
pie, make a good fruit.
Pawpaw trees, good little resource. If you find it in the right time.
They're better than an apple.
Yeah, in the right time, in the right area, lucking out, finding a pawpaw tree.
Yeah, I got my grandparents' house. They've got tons of them. You go from picking pawpaw.
On your pants, you'll be
Alright, everybody ready? Alright, this what's in front of me is also a toxic plant. I showed you the bloodroot, the juices for it, right? Toxic plant. This is also another toxic plant, nicknamed the American mandrake or what have you, things like that. This is mayapple. Anybody here country boys? Mayapple pie, stuff like that. This is the mayapple right here. And it's called American mandrake for a reason. It's very similar to that in effects of the roots and things like that. Deadly. The leaves, the stems, the root is absolutely dead poison. You might see Bigfoot before you die, so that's a good thing, right? But anyway, so what we're looking for with this is these splits right here. Because if you can see, this is kind of a poor example of it, but in this split, there is what used to be a flower, mayapple flower. It's called mayapple for a reason, because usually in May, it's a flower out, bud out, and create a flower, or like an apple basically, like a ball like this, okay? And it's only edible in a certain time when it's ripe into a certain color, okay? I actually stay away from this plant, really, because even though it's suggestively edible, it is only because you're ingesting low amounts of the same toxin that is deadly when it's not ripe. It's just less toxic. So any plant, in my opinion, that can be or will be toxic in any time of the year, I pretty much stay away from. But this is possibly edible in a certain time of the year. May apple usually, obviously it's named that because usually it's ripe around May.
It'll be
around
bright yellow.
Huh?
It'll be bright yellow.
Bright yellow, absolutely. Yeah, I usually, like I said, I usually stay away from this because it's edible, it's not going to hurt you, but you're still ingesting low amounts of that toxin. You might have to eat a wheelbarrow of the stuff to actually affect you, but still, same thing.
Tastes like a pawpaw.
You can boil them once, eat them like that, maybe like a spinach, a wilted spinach, stuff like that. So when this turns from, because this is a medicinal at this point, when it turns from a edible to a medicinal, it's just like these plantains and all that stuff, is later on in the year because the bugs start attacking it, so it starts to grow a natural defense to this stuff. So it starts to get that high, powerful astringency to it. So not even the bugs want to eat it. And you don't want to eat it really either. You know, you put it in your mouth, you're like, oh God, that's bitter. But at that point, it's a powerful medicinal. That's when it has its medicinal properties in it. So it's just like, you know, your tomatoes and your apple plant trees and all that stuff we made those. You know, it doesn't have those properties to it. It doesn't have that self-defense mechanism, basically. We have to take care of those plants. And these plants are wild. They have their own defense system. You know, that's the difference between what man did to food and what nature has done for food. Nature has provided it with its own defenses, and that's its astringency. And what we use it for in early spring is an edible, and then in late summer, when it's getting ready to fall out, we use them as medicinals. All right, let's go ahead and move on around here. I got one that's a spear point, one that's a mitten, and one that's a trident. This all came off the same tree. Can anybody tell me what tree this is? Sassafras, right. So if we take these leaves, we ball it up and smell that. Smell like root beer, right? Oh yeah. This is actually what they used to make root beer from, right guys? So if you take that, when you have that leaf in your hand, kind of macerate it up a little bit more, and you're gonna see it's almost a little slimy, mucilagenic, right? That bow drill class that we were having yesterday, this has been really, really good for those bow drill sockets, the handholds, right? This is like literally, if you sit here and you do this, you're gonna get like a slime almost. You have almost no friction in your bearing block if you use stuff like this. Even, you know, there's another plant that's not actually out here, I haven't seen it, it's called common mallow, it does the same thing. But, all right, so if you research this, there's a lot of controversy about this plant. I myself don't put too much stock in it, just my personal opinion. I'm not gonna push that upon you guys. You guys do your own research, see what you guys think on yourself. And in the early to late 70s, there was research done on this plant, and they would take thousands of cc milligrams of this stuff, saffron oil, what this comes off of, and they would inject rats with it. And, you know, obviously these little tiny rat that's injected with thousands of cc's of saffron oil developed tumors in their liver and things like that. This was on every grocery shelf in America. Saffron tea was there, and people, you know, all of us used to, our grandpa used to make sassafras tea, right? Well, not anymore, because the FDA says it's toxic and will give you cancer and things like that. Okay, so I don't know, I don't really put too much stock in the research, but that's just me. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that this plant can do. Obviously, for the FDA's sake, shouldn't drink it every day, right? Okay, let's just say that. The settlers, when they would run out of tobacco, they would take strips of the bark, sassafras, and they would chew on it, and that would take that craving for cigarettes away, or tobacco at that point. It would take that tobacco craving away, a nicotine craving away. And there's no nicotine present in the tree, it's just wood. So what we would usually probably do is go down to a tree like this, because you obviously don't want to chop down a big, huge sassafras tree, because these things get huge, right? So something like this would be okay, dig down to the roots, and we would use the roots. I'm not going to go ahead and do that now because they're huge. The root systems of this could be huge. But that's where you're really going to get that smell from, that fiery Dr. Pepper, maybe even root beer smell. Great tea, I love it. I drink it quite often, and I don't have liver cancer. So that's just me, man. That's just my opinion on it. So, okay, let's go to move on.
So you make the tea out of the roots or the roots?
You could do it. Okay, so in Louisiana, if you get gumbo, this is still FDA approved. Filet. This is filet. This is what they use in gumbo. Is the sassafras leaves at that point. Just the leaves. Yeah, that's filet. This is filet. So I mean, if you've ever eaten gumbo, you've had sassafras, more than likely. They use, some places will use okra for the gummy agent. But that's what they're after. They're after that mucilagenic property to make that soup more thicker, basically. I don't think I... Alright, so who all here has kids? 5 of them. You almost got me beat, I got 7. Alright, so if you guys are interested in getting your kids interested in plants and plant lore, stuff like that, this is one of the very first plants I show all my kids in all my use classes and things like this. This is wood sorrel. It's oxalic. Okay? So, again, with the sassafras, you research this plant, wood sorrel, oxalic, whatever, you're going to find a bunch of stuff about if you eat this, it's going to leach the calcium out of your bones and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Spinach is an oxalic, and we eat it a lot, right? Same thing, you have to eat wheelbarrows of this stuff every day for it to have any effect on you. Okay, this stuff is really good. One of my favorites. If you're from the country and you eat this, you've actually eaten it when you were a kid or stuff like that, you probably called it sour grass, lemongrass, which is another plant, like that. You guys can pass this around. If you feel up to it, take a nibble. It's like a sour lemon kind of plant. But it's just something, you know, these plants out here that say, okay, you can live off this or you can eat it or stuff like that. You can eat it, but what's the Paul Hogan thing? You can eat it, but it tastes like shit, right? This stuff is actually really good, and it's like almost candy-ish. So you know, you get kids around it. Hey, this is wood sorrel. This is you can actually eat this. Don't eat it unless I'm around. You know, stuff like that. Gets kids interested in the outdoors. Gets them interested in wild edibles, things like that. All right. Yeah, heart shape. Yeah. Pickle? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, a little yellow flower and like a little pickle looking thing. All that's edible. All of it. And all of it will have the same taste. Alright guys, I got 2 leaves in my hand. Did anybody tell me the similarities between these 2? They're
great.
Yeah, bingo! You win the first place prize. Alright, so this is an oak. This is also an oak. It's a variant of the 2, okay? I'd like to actually find a white oak, if I could. Well, this is pretty much, okay. This is part of the black oak, so it's almost the same thing. If you can see, this is a black oak, so it's not going to be exactly like a white oak. But you can see the points that we have on here, all these points. That's how you're going to tell the difference between a red oak and a white oak, okay? Why would we want to know the difference between a red oak and a white oak? Is because the white oaks, in my opinion, are more for eating the acorns, things like that. They're quick to leach the tannins out of it, super quick. Red oaks, same thing, you can, but I mean it's a process to leach tannins out of that. This isn't exactly a great example, but okay, so a white oak, instead of being pointed like this, it's going to be lobed, round, okay? So this is medicinal though, right? So we want both of these. We just want to be able to be on the lookout for both of these. We're going to get the medicinal tannins out of this. You know, you can go ahead, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you all about the medicinal use and prescribe medicines to you all or anything like that. Go out and do your own research on medicinal uses of red oaks and things like that. Just more safer that way, I guess. So just be on the lookout and know that red oaks have points, white oaks have lobes. All right, let's go and move on. Touch the hairy rope. All right. So I showed you guys curly dock, right? It's practically the same thing as broadleaf broadleaf dock, okay? Also called butter dock. So if you guys look this up on a computer, there's just common names that we can use. We call it butter dock because early settlers used to actually, these get huge, used to actually roll their butter in this for storage because the tannins in this would store it a little bit longer, right? I don't know, I think it'd give it a kind of weird taste, but that's just me. Same thing with this plant. In early spring, this is just, you just eat it just as it is. A little bit bitter now, a little bit older now. still edible though. You just have to get past the bitterness. So, you know, same thing. In early spring, we use it as a salad green. Later on in the year, we use it as a medicinal. Broadleaf dock. Point to this plant right here. Can anybody tell me what it is? Bloodroot. Good job, guys. Good job.
Very digestible.
Only once. Only once.
There we go.
Choose your spot you're going to hit, close your eyes and whack it. It doesn't really make sense, does it? But you don't want this stuff in your eyes. Hold my beer and watch this. Yeah. It doesn't make very much sense to close your eyes while you're swinging a hammer, but it makes much sense if you don't have safety glasses on, okay guys? Don't want anybody going to the hospital. It's very far away and you might go blind before you get there. Now that all that's out of the way, we're going to do flint and steel, guys, okay? What we're talking about flint and steel, this flint is not actually what's working here. What's actually working is the steel. And carbon steel, okay? What's actually going on is the iron ferrite that's in this steel, once it creates enough velocity and enough oxygen is mixed in, you're going to create a spark. You guys can see, I'm removing metal from this steel with enough speed and enough oxygen for the iron ferrite to combust. And you see I got a lot of spark off that, okay guys? So the other component we need to this, usually something that's going to take a spark from this, right? All right. So everybody here got a ferrocerium rod, right? All right. Okay. So So ferrocerium, sort of something like this, with enough speed, enough oxygen mixed in, combusts and makes a spark. Usually that's a combination of iron ferrite, magnesium, other ferrous metals. Okay. That will burn in upwards of 2,000 degrees. This is anywhere from about 600, 800, 900. That's very low temperature spark, right? So we need something that's going to aggressively take that spark. Usually, we use what's called charred material. When I say charred material, everybody here knows what charred cloth is. But it doesn't have to be charred cloth. That maulin that we were practicing hand drill with, we take the pith out of that and char it just like regular charred cloth. It's almost even better in my opinion. Cattails. Anything that we char without or burn without the presence of oxygen is going to take this low intensity spark. All right. So let's go over here to where we have some charred cloth. All right. So a very common thing in bushcraft, outdoors, wilderness survival, what have you, whatever you want to call it, whatever you want to do, is char. Char tins, right? Everybody's used char tins. Everybody's made char cloth. Yep. Okay, so everybody's used these tins, right? First of all, the Altoids tin, you really don't have to compromise the integrity of the tin. The backs of these will usually work, so you don't have to put a hole in them. Just, you know, FYI, a little self-tip. You don't even need a tin, guys. You know, how many oftentimes are we going to actually need a flint steel set when we're like, oh my God, I messed up and now I don't have my whole fire kit. Okay, so now we're down to flint steel. We need to make some char cloth because we don't have any with us. We're not going to have this tin either, so we've done lost all of our crap. All we have to do is, if we've already had a fire or something like that, or we're going to plan for our next fire, something like that, we already have something going on, we have to dig a hole to the fire, put our charred material that we're wanting to, like, maybe we want to make char cloth to save our other materials, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All that we have to do is burn the material without the presence of oxygen. So if we dig a hole and set the fire on top of it, the next morning when that fire is out, we uncover it. That's all the charred material we need for our next fire. And then we're flint and steel ready. So again, I can't stress this enough, guys. I've cut myself many times doing flint and steel. But I'm just going to demonstrate how I do it, and there's 3 different ways to do it. Either we're going to put our charred material, what's called top shelf, and this is all up to you. Top shelf, bottom shelf, or down striking. All right, that's the 3 preferable ways in my opinion. Also, this is the same thing as this. Practically the same material, guys. I don't know how many times my knife has started a fire. Maybe not this one, but maybe not that particular one. All right, so when we're using our char cloth, what I suggest is you fold it, okay? And I usually use the folded end right here. And what I'll do is I'll take my fingernail and I'll just rough it up. And what I'm doing is I'm creating surface area, okay? Just creating as much surface area as I can. I prefer top shelf. And George's char cloth is a little bit stubborn. We've already been through this.
There's some non-blue jean stuff in there too. There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, this is good.
Here, grab some of that
So my suggestion to you when you're making char cloth, if you have it in a tin and a fire, what you're going to see is you're going to see just billows of white smoke come out that stuff, okay? And once it stops smoking completely, then take it out of the fire, kick it out with something, whatever, and just leave it alone. Do not touch it, because one thing that a lot of people do, a lot of my students I've seen do this, is they'll make char cloth, and then as soon as it's out, they'll kick it open.
I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, first thing that happens is that stuff's glowing red. But it's superheated still at that point. It's just gonna glow red, it's just gonna be done at that point. Take it out of the fire, don't mess with it. All right, let's see what we get here. Should be only a couple pops and we should get this. There we go. All right, so now we have a glowing ember, we have a pole, and it's just like in our Vodro class, same thing. Once I get a bird's nest, I'm gonna take the bird's nest and I'm gonna close my hands, just like this, okay? No oxygen through. Heat, I want all the heat to collect. Once I start, well, char cloth's a little bit easier than an ember. But with other ones, I would hold it up and then pick up like this. There you go. Oh, yeah, if you want, we can pass that around, kind of see the glowing ember in it. Just be careful, super hot.
Nice thing about blue jean material is it burns a little bit slower and a little bit longer.
So we got some pieces of flint here, we got some steel here. Other people got their own flint and steel kits. Everybody get a piece of char cloth, get some bird nest material, jute twine, whatever you want to call it. Get to work. Please be careful of your hands.
When we're finished, take as much flint as you like, and we don't want to leave any here.
I will take you up on that. Because there's a couple actually navigable pieces of it.
Yep, we gotta thank Peter for the huge chunk of flint.
Peter for bringing this all the way from England.
Yeah.
I got flint lots of it like this.
Anybody
These
have
are
any
big chunks.
trouble getting a scarf or getting
That thing can work better than cutting.
That's plenty right there.
Huh? That's a nice piece.
9 times out of 10, if you picked up a rock and it has a hardness of 9 or greater, which is
Oh,
on the
almost
Rockwell
saw something there.
scale of what's going to actually create an iron ferrite spark. In America, 9 times out of 10 is probably chert. We don't have a lot of flint here. Technically, flint or quartz or
Blow on it as you
anything
do it.
on the Rockwell scale of 9 or greater. But 9 times out of 10, it's not going to be flint here in the United States. We got a ridge, a line, a vein up in Ohio called Flint Ridge.